Hey everybody, Mike McNellis here, and today we are going to explore the wide world of Pinot Gris. First and foremost, what's the difference between Pinot Gris and Pinot Grigio? Honestly, nothing. They are the exact same grape variety. The difference comes down to the style the winemaker is trying to portray. Pinot Gris is a grape capable of producing wines that range from the most simple neutral styles all the way to intensely concentrated Grand Cru quality wines that can be aged for decades. And then there's everything in between. Today we're going to take a look at 4 different styles from 4 different countries that will give us a glimpse into what this grape can do. Let's start with the Pinot Grigio. Not just because of its structure compared to the others, but also because this type of wine is where a lot of people start their white wine journey. I know I did. When we see Pinot Grigio on the label, regardless of what country it's from, it is most likely going to be made in the style that we associate from Northeast Italy. Light, crisp, refreshing, not a lot of concentration, usually a dry, easygoing style that's really hard not to like, if it's made properly. Pinot Gris will show up on the label if there's more richness and possibly a little residual sugar. This example represents the Pinot Grigio style perfectly. It's the 2017 Bellini from Trentino. Trentino is in northeast Italy at the base of the Alps, close to the border of Austria. With its intense hillside vineyards and fairly cool climate growing area, this wine is able to retain all of its intense citrus and crunchy green apple character. Fresh little green pear rounding out the nose as well. On the palate, everything is fairly delicate. Not a lot going on, and that's okay. This style is all about being crisp and clean, able to be enjoyed by itself or with some really light dishes. We're gonna taste these wines in order of structure and concentration. So next up will be the 2018 Franz Keller Pinot Gris, or Grauburgunder as they like to call it in Germany. This is from the Baden region, which you can see is actually very close to Alsace, a region in France where the last wine we'll be tasting is from. The area where these grapes grow is similar to Trentino's climate, and it's the cool, wet weather that rolls in towards the end of the growing season that dictates when the grapes are going to be harvested. The longer the grapes are able to stay on the vine, the more concentration and ripeness they will be able to achieve. Let's give it a try. This wine is definitely a bit richer than the last one. More ripeness in the citrus and apple category, then even some pineapple and sweet flower starting to show through. Getting a little green melon as well. There are also a few things on this bottle that we need to take a look at to give us an indication of the style and quality of this wine. First, take a look at the crest on the top of the bottlenecker. It's an eagle with the letters VDP. This represents a group of wine growers that uphold levels of quality above the standard government guidelines. This guaranteed level of quality comes from distinct vineyard areas as well as more strenuous restrictions on yields. Generally, the more grape bunches that you cut off during the growing season means there will be more available energy for the grapes that are left. So less wine, but higher quality. We also see this at the bottom, Vom Los. This is referring to the type of soil the vines are grown in. Los is a very light and delicate soil that accumulates on hillsides thanks to wind carrying it there for thousands and thousands of years. Pinot Gris is a grape that can be affected a good amount by the soil that it grows in. Let's give it a taste. Yes, all of those citrus and orchard fruits are there, and then some tart pineapple coming in, a little green mango quality. That really makes this wine fun and refreshing. Oh, and there's the mineral component that we were looking for. Super fine grain and just rests on your palate through the finish. Delicious. Okay, on to our domestic wine in the flight. It's the 2017 Joel Gott Pinot Gris from the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Pinot Gris is a specialty here and almost always has a little hint of sweetness to go along with the riper fruit flavors you're able to achieve in this area. Getting very ripe green and yellow apple, some juicy pineapple, even a little nectarine filling the glass. A touch sweeter than the last wine, but enough acidity to keep it in balance. And noticeably more structured than the Pinot Grigio. Very good wine. And finally, we move into Alsace, where the absolute best quality examples of this grape variety come from. This region is capable of making sharp, bone-dry Pinot Gris all the way to some of the sweetest and longest-lived wines in the world. But how's that possible? It's all about the place. Alsace isn't the warmest place to grow grapes. Northeast France on the border of Germany? So how are these extreme sugar levels achieved? Two things make it all possible. First, the protection the region has from the Vosges Mountains. There is some intense weather that rolls into this part of France in late summer, early fall. But because of the altitude of the Vosges Mountains, all of the bad weather and precipitation dumps off before it can reach the vineyards on the backside of the peaks. This is called the rain shadow effect. Because of this, Alsace has an extended growing season, allowing for longer hang time for the grapes before harvest. This allows for more flavor and ripeness in the grapes, as there are no clouds blocking out the sun. The other factor involved here only occurs in very special wine regions around the world that concentrates the sugar, flavor, and acidity in the grapes. This factor is called Botrytis cinerea, aka noble rot. This is a type of fungus that rolls into the vineyards, microscopically penetrates the grape skins, and sucks out all the moisture from the berry, leaving behind dehydrated, raisin-looking berries. Now, let's take a look at this label and see what else we can find out about this wine before we taste it. So this is a 2015 from Domaine Zindhumbrecht, and it comes from the village of Turkheim. Very, very prestigious. Clos Yezbal is the lieu dit, which translates to named site, which is usually a single vineyard. This particular vineyard is just below a Grand Cru called Braun, so I know this area is capable of producing some outstanding quality wines. But the most important thing we see on this label are the two words at the top, Vendage tardive. This is a labeling classification that tells me the grapes were late harvested and could have some noble rot coming in to concentrate the berries even more. Because of these two words, I know this is a very rare and extremely special wine that is going to have some intense flavor and sugar levels. I'm very excited for this one. Oh my goodness, this wine is beautiful. There is so much going on. I don't even know where to start. It's just baked apples slathered in honey, ripe yellow peach, dried apricot, ginger, white flowers, beeswax, yellow pear, tons of complexity. Let's taste it. Picking up everything we got on the nose, then so much more. A touch of vanilla, some nuttiness, a little mushroom flavor complements the fruit beautifully. This is considered a dessert wine, but it's not cloyingly sweet whatsoever. That's because the acidity was preserved by the long, even growing season. And also a good amount of the sugar was fermented away. A lot of these styles only get up to 9% ABV before the fermentation is stopped. This is clocking in at 12.5%. Man, what an amazing wine. This is a 2015 and could easily have kept getting better for the next 20 years. I hope this flight has shown you what the misunderstood Pinot Gris grape is capable of. Thanks for checking out this SWIG. Cheers.